Good evening, folks. This is ICT with the Pro Traders Club entry for March 28th, 2011. Okay, I appreciate your patience with me while I worked out a little bit of a virus or a bug, if you want to call it. Still getting over it a little bit, but certainly feel much better. Thank you for your patience waiting for me to get back in the swing of things. Okay, we're looking at a fiber chart today, and this is going to be a 5-minute chart. This will only to illustrate the swings that we're unfolding for today. Okay, we have new session week for Forex coming in here. We have a nice gap, and if you recall the previous videos, I referred to a pattern called whiplash. Okay, and whenever you see the gap form, you have an 80% likelihood of it filling the gap, and then what happens after that usually is you'll see an optimal trade entry come in one way, shape, or form. It'll give you a sell or buy once the gap is filled. Again, we look for about 80% of the gap to be filled, and it doesn't mean it won't fill it 100% or continue on once it fills it, but I always like to look for a minimum of 80% to be filled. Okay, so we have an initial down move, trades to S1, blows underneath it, just a short distance away, and starts to move up, comes down, corrects a little bit in here, pulls up to a fill on the gap, and we have a optimal trade entry in here. Okay, we have a London session trade. Okay, we have optimal trade entry right in here. Very nice. And initial profit taken here. And looking for this low right here. Okay. Now obviously looking as the market traded up, consolidated, traded down a little bit, took off. Right for this nice little pop up. Notice how price went right underneath this low here, clearing out any stops that were being trailed on this initial thrust up. Then it took off. Okay. Well, now the stops will be resting under here for anyone that had gone long. So when we were starting to sell off, obviously once we broke this low in here, even in this consolidation, we would reasonably expect this low to be blown out or tested for stops, and also looking for a retest of S1. This was my area for covering, getting short in here at 140.80, and we have the low in here. This could have very well easily been retested, but if you take this out here, we're going to look for the New York session trade. Okay. Alright. Now if you were to use this high in here, obviously optimal trade in here, and you would have had to sit through a little bit of a drawdown. Okay. Looking at the initial high, optimal trade entry, still in the same vicinity. Okay. And you'd still have relatively the same amount of risk based on either one of these highs being utilized for today. Okay. So going long at 140.30 on a limit. Initial objective was to blow out this high here, which it did, and then price, once broke it, old resistance now becomes support, trades back down to up to central pivot. Okay, and we went above the 141 figure just for a little bit of time today, going into London close, and what do you see here? Optimal trade entry. Okay. there, right in here. And if you didn't catch that one, could have used the 62% retracement level in here as a possible pullback and retracement. And this old high in here would have been a very handsome objective, and had you held on to it a little bit longer, you could have done a little bit more. But this is right here would have been an ideal location to exit the trade. And that was the recap for the fiber today. So several opportunities in today. There was 2 trades that I actually took, and let's take a look at the cable real quick. Okay, we are looking at a 15-minute chart of the cable. And unfortunately, even though the cable has slid rather precipitously, today just didn't give me any real solid entry to take any trade at all, either long or short. We did have a gap in here, but it wasn't filled until like later on in the New York session time. I just wasn't real comfortable with the price action on the cable. Moving to a 5-minute chart. Okay, you can see that you did get a London close set up in here for optimal trade entry. Should you have felt strong enough convictions to go short. I just have no interest in trading the cable when it's like this. It's just going to take your money. So the fiber was definitely the star of today for technicals, and I am still presently from last week. I went over this in the webinar on Sunday with those that were able to join. Real quick, there was no audio, and I didn't discover that until we actually started, and the service itself was allowing me to have audio when I first posted the original link and sign-on instructions, but for whatever reason the company has adopted a new policy with not allowing audio, so I will have to look for a different service provider for webinars and screen sharing with audio. Otherwise it's it's got a rather mute point, no pun intended. So this was the Euro Pound. Okay, this is another pair that I don't like to look at a whole lot in terms of trading, but because the fiber was certainly much stronger than the cable last week, we did see a lot of distribution in the cable, a lot of selling, and the fiber was holding its own in that regard. So we had the Euro Pound finding support in here. Nice huge extrapolated rally to the upside. Whenever you see that, guys, you immediately want to set up a post, start scouting for an opportunity, and start stalking an entry. Okay, here's your optimal trade entry bands. Okay, this is your area where you want to be looking to get long. Okay, we have short-term low here, intermediate term low, and then the next short-term low that forms in here would be a very nice entry point. But obviously this is happening after the fact. My entry was in here, so I had to sit through this little push down, and then found support here again on the 79% retracement, and then boom, just started taking off. Old high resistance becomes support, rallies up, and if you take low to high 50%, reasonable expectation for this price objective to be met, and I took some out in this area here. I took some out at 87.40 as well. And I'm still presently long, and I'm looking for hopefully London to give me one more surge. And if I can get to 88.50 in this vicinity, I'll scale out some more and leave another 10% left in the trade and see if I can get this leg here duplicated to the upside. Maybe get 89 as an upside objective. But I will use Wednesday's Pro Traders Club entry for detailing how I got this move in here. For those that missed the webinar, I did cover it there. And but that was the swings for today, and I wish you good luck and good trading, guys.